Hey everyone, how's it going? Tekno Tiger here, and I hope you're doing well. Today I'm very excited to bring you guys another Warframe guide, and I'm very excited because this guide is going to be on the Skywing, also known as the Archwing for the Plains of Eidolon. This allows you to fly in the Plains of Eidolon, and in this video I'm going to be telling you guys exactly how to get the plans, to research it, as well as the blueprints to make the launchers so that you guys can fly as well. I'll be showing you guys exactly how to do that from start to finish, as well as a few strategies I've found that work well and don't work well when you are flying in the plains. And so, without further ado, let's get into the guide. So here I am in the dojo, and you're asking why probably, and because this is the one of only two ways to get the Archwing segment. And you're going to need the Archwing segment for one of two pieces to allow you to fly in the Plains of Eidolon. So after you leave my Zen dojo, you come into the Tenno lab. So this is one of the research labs. If you don't know, in clans you have research labs, and this is one of them. This is one of the ones that you first start out and you find. And here you can research a plethora of weapons and frames, but also most importantly, the reason you're here is the Archwing launcher segment research. So this is something that your clan is going to have to buy, or you're going to have to buy and contribute to, and the research does take 72 hours and it requires mastery rank 5. So if you don't meet any of those requirements, I'm sorry, the only other option in order to acquire this is to spend platinum, and that is 175 platinum from the market. It's kind of expensive, but it's not that hard to get into a dojo, so especially a dojo that is this early on. I'm not a big dojo, I'm only rank 5, and so if you guys don't have a dojo, I would recommend definitely getting into one because the Archwing really is that much fun. So you go in here and you research the segment, of course, and then I'll show you guys the second half of the plans that you're going to need. So alright guys, welcome back to my ship. As you've seen before, we're at the foundry now. And once you're at the foundry and you've got your research segment, just type in Archwing and it should be there. It is reusable. It takes 50 Grok Drool, 50 Iridite, as well as 1200 Oxium. So it's not too steep. The Iridite obviously more, it's kind of hard to find it, but if you can find 50, then you can make this. And this takes 12 hours and mastery rank 5, like I said, as well as 100,000 credits. So it's not the cheapest thing, but it's definitely doable in my opinion. So you make this, and 12 hours later, you'll have your segment. You can use those 12 hours to farm because you're going to need a lot of material for the next part. So this is the second half of the equation in order to get your launcher started, and that is this blueprint right here, the 50 Archwing launchers, and this is given to you. It should be in your foundry right now, and this one costs 1200 circuits, 50 Grok Drool, 100 Iridite, as well as 150 fish oil. Luckily this only takes an hour, so you don't have to wait too long. And a lot of people are complaining about the fish oil and the Iridite cost for the Archwing launcher, and to be honest, it's not that big a deal. And it's not that big a deal because I'll tell you later what I recommend using the launcher for. It's not something that I think you're going to use all the time until you have either farmed up a lot of stuff, have a lot of time to farm stuff, or just really like flying around. So it is costly, especially the fish oil, but in around 30 minutes of fishing I did manage to get over 150 fish oil. So I don't know if it's luck, but I am going to make a guide on the place that I found to fish soon, so hopefully that can help you guys out with your fishing dilemma. It's not that hard in my opinion, but this is how you get it. You simply research it, and an hour later you got your launchers. So that is exactly start to finish how you go from Archwing launcher segment to Archwing launcher product. And now I'll get into the guide to show you guys exactly what I think is a good idea and not a good idea to do while you're flying. Hey everyone, welcome to the gameplay portion of the video. In this part I'm going to show you guys how to get into the Warframe, or into the Archwing, excuse me. First, you're going to want to put it into your gear after you're done constructing it, and then you simply call it down as if it were an energy restore and run on top of it. It's pretty simple, you just saw me do it there. And so in this portion I did want to show you guys a bit of the gameplay that's going on in the background, but also the pros, then the cons, and third and lastly I want to tell you guys a setup that I think would be really optimal or really good. And so Oh, also first tip here, you can see me kind of running into the sky. Unfortunately, I found that there is a ceiling height that is fairly low. It is 100 meters, so when you see your teammates are 100 meters below you, that's about the ceiling height. It is a soft ceiling cap, so you can kind of push into it, but it will bounce you back down. So that is unfortunate, but it's definitely understandable so that it's a little bit more balanced. And a second note is when you do go into your Skywing, you don't have your abilities anymore. It instantly goes into your Arcwing's abilities, and here I'm using the Amisha. And so I kind of think that'd be a cool dynamic of bringing, I think this might bring new Arcwings into gameplay more, because I think a lot of people are using the Amisha right now for very obvious reasons, but I could see other Arcwings that have more offensive capabilities kind of coming into the meta. So with that out of the way, I'm going to get into the pros. So the number one pro for me is this, you're flying. This is actually very, very fun gameplay. I don't mean to exaggerate at all. I don't know why I found this to be very, very fun. Especially with a sniper, it kind of feels like you're a very big kid in a sandbox, kind of just looking down and sniping at all these little ant grenier. And so that felt really, really fun. Two is it handles pretty well, actually. It doesn't feel super off balance, kind of how it can feel in your Arcwing state. And also, thirdly, is you can take advantage of snipers incredibly well. As you can see I'm doing here with the Volcar Wraith, it's extremely effective at these very long 200, 300, 400 meter ranges. And I'm still getting shots that are pretty good, especially with the 8x zoom. It helps out a lot. And so everyone that's picking up those Vectis, I see you in trade chat, you can definitely put them to use here. And so now we're going to go into some cons, and there is quite a few of them, unfortunately. So for the cons, the number one, definitely number one in my mind would be the ammo situation. So as you can see, I'm up here, I'm not near any of the enemies, which makes it not difficult but impossible to grab ammo from up here. So even though I am using a sniper rifle that one shot kills pretty much every enemy down there, I still run out of ammo. I get down to I think 1 or 2 magazines left. And then I have a secondary, which is the Stilettos, which are very good for medium to long range, but this is very long range, and they are still semi-effective here, but they're using a lot of ammo. As you'll see here, I literally run out of ammo in my Stilettos taking this single point in this level 5 bounty. Of course, in a level 1, 2, or 3 bounty, or if you're using a stronger setup than I am, then of course, you know, use whatever you feel comfortable with and whatever you're able to maintain. I just found that it was increasingly difficult to maintain my ammo, even when I was using different setups. And so, yeah, the weapon setups were pretty important. The secondary thing is, it's kind of coming from the pros or the tips, I guess, is that you don't have your skills, you don't have your abilities. So if you were playing, let's say, for instance, Nidus, and you wanted to group up a bunch of enemies so that you can burn them down with your Warframe, or with your Arcwing, either one, if you had an offensive Arcwing, you couldn't do that. That's not an option. So that's unfortunate, but I can see how you can't, how they wanted to give you the Arcwing abilities, and you can't really put 2 sets of abilities. That'd be, I think, too overpowered and too complicated at the same time. So that's kind of something that's a give and take. And third is that you get shot down extremely easily when you are flying around in this Arcwing. I didn't show it, but in one of my first flights, the flight before this one, I was flying around, and within a minute or two of contacting enemy, I was about 50 meters off the ground, and they shredded me apart. I didn't stand a chance. And you don't die when you lose your Skywing, but you do lose that charge of the Skywing. It's gone forever. You can't re-equip it from the same charge. You have to initiate the Arcwing segment launcher. And so that's, you know, that's unfortunate. I have 1800 health on my Skywing, and it still turned me to dust when I got close enough to the enemies, which is why I'm at the maximum height here, because I did want to, you know, be able to stay alive long enough to create this video. Cool tip also before we end off on this is You can get really close to the ground, literally on the ground, and pick up stuff here, but that's another con that I wanted to add, is you don't get your pet. That's, you know, that's really unfortunate that you don't get your pet here, because Carrier Prime with Vacuum would be tremendous and would almost solve the ammo issue here if you're able to go from post to post refreshing your ammo. But that's not the case, so the con still stands. And so overall, I really like the experience. I will be one of those people, one of those 10% that are farming these Archwing launchers and using them often. And so I wanted to go into my last point, which was about the philosophy of, oh, this part is my favorite though. Just kind of firing into the bay doors of a ship. This was one of the best parts I had all night. But back to my point is, I wouldn't recommend playing this way for most people unless you have the ability to farm a lot of materials, because it is relatively expensive, I think, for most players. Like I said, the 10% of players like me that really enjoy this type of gameplay, as well as being able to fly around incredibly fast, it's worth it to me to farm. And it's, like I said, again, not that big of a deal for me to farm the materials and make 50 of these. I don't think I'll go through 50 in a week, and I can definitely farm way more than the materials needed in a week. So that's kind of the way I look at it. And that's kind of the last tip that I wanted to go over. Now, the setups that I found the most useful is this one, or something similar that you can see here, is a precise rifle and a more precise secondary. Unfortunately, I don't have very many precise secondaries. I still want to get the Euphonia, which I think would work extremely well here. If you can get the Euphonia Prime or the Euphonia, the Sicarius, I actually didn't try the Sicarius, but I think that would work really well too. Some accurate burst guns or just accurate single shot guns I think would work really well here to, you know, increase the amount of damage you can do from long range. That I think is the key here, is doing damage from long range, so you can make your Archwing last the most if this is the type of gameplay you're looking for. And so snipers like the Sabars, like I said, all of the snipers I think would be very good. Weapons like shotguns, obviously ineffective. The Soma is effective to some degree, but I feel like you just kind of ran out of ammo much quicker and didn't kill enemies nearly as fast as you would think or you would like. So if you guys have any suggestions, or have actually tried this yourself and have found success in something, please let me and everyone else know. It'd be great to try out something new. So that is all I have for for tips for this guide. There's not really anything you can change as far as warframes go. Obviously put as much health as you can on your Archwing so you can last much longer, and your weapon doesn't matter because you're using the weapons you have equipped. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have for you guys. I really hope you were able to get this soon enough, and tell me what you think about the cost. You know, obviously, you know my opinion. I don't think the costs are too bad, but for normal people like you, it could be really expensive. So tell me what you think on the cost, as well as a few weapon setups that you think would be really good. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to leave a like and comment down in the comments below. You know, I like to talk to you guys here and there when I do get around to it. So thanks guys for interacting and being really great so far, and I'll see you guys next time.